Hi, this is Trey Pastor, and welcome to my video entry to WhytockOfilms. I think I said that right for the first time in all the times I've said his name. Chris, who's having a giveaway contest. And again, I want to say thank you, Chris, for having this contest. I love when people give back to the YouTube movie community. And thank you for extending the deadline because I've been meaning to do a contest entry for you, but I've been, as usual, I'm extremely have, like I said, the attention span of a 5-year-old on candy with a sugar rush. But anyway, Chris, I just want to say again, thank you for having this contest and giving back, and also you're a fellow. We share a collaboration channel, of course, the Horoscope 101 channel. We share that, okay, and I'll leave a link to that channel somewhere in here, okay. And we review horror movies, and again, so we're part of that. And thank you for watching my videos and commenting on my videos. And again, thank you for having this contest, okay? And I'm going to leave a link to your channel somewhere in here, okay? So some of my people, please, all my fellow subscribers, please sub to him and show him some love. He's a great reviewer. Like I said, we do the Horoscope 101 channel, and I think he's also doing a Hitchcock collaboration with DVD Collector 1974. He's doing that with him also, which is very interesting also. Okay, anyway, you asked a very interesting question for this contest, and you're giving away, I think, 2 vampire movies, Meet the Hamiltons and I forgot the other one, but I saw the trailer for one of them, and they're like low-budget vampire movies with a nice twist to them, and also you're giving away, I think, an autograph. Okay, I'm not sure about the autograph, but anyway, I thought I'd enter your contest and show you some support, and I really like to see those movies also. But anyway, you asked a very interesting question. If you could make any horror movie of your own, what genre would it be, and who would star in it, and what's the story about, and and you can do the soundtrack as a bonus, I guess. Okay, I have something that I came up with that I think I might have talked about before, but anyway, I'm a big fan of the Universal horror movies. As you can see from that, all the way back over there, that Universal horror DVD box set, and I got the Coffin edition over there. I'm a big fan of the Universal horror movies. Okay, so back in the 40s, when they were making these movies, late 30s and early 40s, they were making these horror movies. There were a series of movies, besides Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. After that, in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, Ghost of Frankenstein, there were these house movies called, first of all, there was House of Frankenstein, and of course, House of Dracula. Now, in these movies, they decided to put all the monsters in it together. Okay, like you get 5 monsters in a movie by the advertising. You get the Mad Scientist, the Hunchback, the Frankenstein monster, Dracula, and the Wolfman. I guess they figured 5 monsters, that would be extremely popular, and people would go to see that. So anyway, they did House of Frankenstein, which was the first collaboration with all the monsters in it, and then they did House of Dracula, again with 5 of the same creatures again in that movie. And I really love those house movies. Okay, so and they never made, I guess, but at the time they made House of Dracula. Um, Universal was kind of, getting away from making those, and they went into making these. This was like the end of an era, House of Dracula, and so they never made a House of the Wolfman movie. I remember when I was little, and after I discovered there was a House of Frankenstein movie, and then there was a House of Dracula movie, and I always wondered why wouldn't there be a House of the Wolfman movie, and there never was. But anyway, so my idea is the sequel to the House of Dracula, which would be House of the Wolfman. Now this is going to be a spoiler for people that don't never seen House of Dracula, so if they want to tune away. Okay, House of Dracula, like the House of Frankenstein, had the Mad Doctor, the Hunchback nurse, Frankenstein monster, Dracula, and the Wolfman. Okay, in this movie, Lawrence Talbot, aka the Wolfman, gets cured of, he gets operated on by the Mad Doctor, and he gets cured of being a werewolf. Okay, so he gets cured. The Frankenstein monster gets temporarily revived, and then supposedly dies in a fire. Okay, and Dracula gets exposed to sunlight. Okay, the Mad Doctor, who becomes mad when he gets infected with Dracula's blood, and he gets shot and killed. And the Hunchback nurse gets killed by the Mad Doctor. Okay, and she gets killed, and that's the end of that. So basically, the only character left in the end of the movie is Lawrence Talbot, the cured Wolfman, and a female nurse who he's falling in love with. And that's how the movie ends, with the castle burning and them escaping, and that's how it ends. Okay, so my movie, The House of the Wolfman, is going to pick up after that. It's going to be a sequel to that, House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula. Okay, now, since I'm going to put modern stars in it, since the old stars, you know, are dead and gone, but I'm going to put modern stars in it. Okay, it's starring as Lawrence Talbot in this movie. In my House of the Wolfman will be Gerard Butler. Okay, it also stars Gwyneth Paltrow. She'll be the nurse that was in the movie House of Dracula. She'll be the nurse who falls in love, of course, with Lawrence Talbot. Okay, and then the supporting actors in this movie will be Robert Downey Jr. He'll be a Talbot cousin, and Lena Headey. She'll also be a female Talbot cousin. Okay, we're going to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan as a childhood friend of Lawrence Talbot. And then we'll have Brian Cox as Sir Richard Talbot, who is an uncle of Lawrence Talbot. Okay, and then we're going to have this movie directed by Guillermo del Toro, who is a very good director. Very impressed with his movies, so I'm going to have him direct this. Okay, and the music is going to be done by Danny Elfman, who I love his soundtrack, so I'm going to let him do the soundtrack to this. Okay, now the basic story of this horror movie, House of the Wolfman, is after the events of House of Dracula, Lawrence Talbot and his well, I was going to say female nurse, but his fiancee, who, you know, let's call her his fiancee, which of course is played by Gwyneth Paltrow. Lawrence Talbot decides to go home, back to England, and reclaim his inheritance. Okay, and because everybody thinks he's dead based on the events of the Wolfman, the original Wolfman, everybody thinks he's dead, but he comes home. And of course, everybody's in stunned disbelief, and his cousins are living in his house, thinking, of course, that he's dead, long and gone, living off basically his inheritance. So he comes home, of course, they're stunned, and he proves who he is by, you know, that he's really Lawrence Talbot, and he doesn't really get into where he was, just that he was away and with an illness, and his father actually spirited him away and faked his death. And anyway, he's back now to claim his birthright and take over and basically run, you know, and live in the house and basically run the Talbot business. Of course, he has his resentful cousins by, you know, Robert Downey Jr. plays a cousin who's resentful. So Lena Headey, she's resentful, and of course attracted to Gerard Butler, who's Lawrence Talbot in this movie, and Jeffrey D. Morgan, who's a childhood friend of Lawrence Talbot. Of course, his childhood friend is still alive, and of course, his uncle, Richard Talbot, welcomes him back to the family. Glad that he's back. Glad his brother's child is still alive. And anyway, and the basic premise of this movie is, once Lawrence Talbot gets settled back into Lawrence estate, to Talbot estate, there starts a series on the first night of the first full moon. These murders start happening. People, you know, the murders that they haven't seen since Lawrence Talbot supposedly died the first time. You know, young victims getting their throats slashed out by some sort of animal, of course, which brings back nightmare images to Lawrence Talbot, who's starting to doubt himself, you know, wondering if he is really not cured, okay, because he's having these blackouts, so he doesn't really know if he's really committing these murders, if he's really, you know, if he's really cured of being the Wolfman. He's doubting himself now. He's thinking that maybe he is the Wolfman, you know, that the cure didn't work, okay, because he's suffering from blackouts where he can't remember stuff, okay. So that's the basic premise of the movie. Lawrence Talbot basically is going to, you know, this murder start happening, and of course he starts to doubt and think that maybe he is the Wolfman because he's having these blackouts, so he can't remember, and he's thinking that maybe he is the Wolfman. He's not cured, and he is still the Wolfman, of course. That, you know, and so the basic premise of this movie is he really cured? And is he the Wolfman, or is there another Wolfman around? Okay, and what about these blackouts he's having? What's causing him to have these blackouts? And that'll be the general mystery of the movie. Is he the Wolfman? Is he the Wolfman that's killing, or is somebody else doing it and framing him? Okay, so that's my premise for this. And again, thank you, Chris, for having this contest. Again, I'll leave a link to your channel down below. Okay, and please, people, sub to him, show him some love, and thank you again for having this contest. Let me know what you think of my great premise. And feel free to leave your comments down below. This is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.